We're staying on because there's someone I really want you to meet. Obianuju EKeocha is a biomedical scientist in hematology. She works in London. I believe she's originally from Nigeria. And she is also the founder and president of Culture of Life Africa, an organization dedicated to pro-life and pro-family messages across the African continent, which is under siege. It is under siege by the left. See, here's the thing. We hear from the left all this stuff about cultural appropriation. No cultural appropriation, no cultural imperialism. And that's so we won't do it, so they can. And Uju has been fighting this onslaught of leftist cultural imperialism in Africa. Can we see her? I can't. There she is. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Oh, same here. I just wish we met. I just wish we met last week when you were in the UK, honestly.
I forgot you were in London. I did. I'm sorry. I have so many old friends there that we were running around from place to place, but I would have looked you up if I had remembered. But I'll be back.
You're great.
So tell me about Culture of Life Africa. What are you trying to do with this, and why does it matter? Why is it important? What's happening in Africa?
Right, and just as you said, I am a Nigerian and I live in the UK, and someone would wonder, oh gosh, what is she doing all this work in Africa? I was just minding my own business, working as a scientist. I was living what I thought was my dream back in 2012, until the wife of Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, did her massive summit in London, where she was starting off this whole population control thing, and she was targeting Africa. So I said, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous, because some of the things she was talking about, I first heard her on CNN with Christian Amanpour, and I felt this woman is actually insulting my people. So I wrote this thing that eventually then became the open letter to Melinda Gates, where I was telling her, you dare not, you don't bring in $5 billion to Africa to bring in what you were saying was the unmet need, which was contraception. But she was also doing a lot with the likes of Planned Parenthood and all these other organizations. So that's really how I started this organization. Is just an organization that tries to stand in the bridge between Africa and the Western world, because I came to realize really that Africa, some people are trying to make Africa into their own image. They're trying to make us into this liberal island or liberal colony, and that's the fight I've been engaged in the last couple of years.
So Bill Gates is spending money, essentially, obviously, she's bringing Bill Gates' money to bring abortion and contraception into Africa, where is there any idea in Africa anywhere that abortion could be a good thing?
Oh my goodness, absolutely not. I mean, I come from Nigeria. I was raised in Nigeria, in as much as I live in the UK now, but I lived in Nigeria till I was 26. I never left my country. So I mean, it was a shock to me when I came to the UK and I was told that abortion was legal here, because even right to the language we speak, abortion is taken really as an abomination. Like, this is, a woman does not kill her own or does not allow her child to be killed. So this is a value that is handed over to us from our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and we stand on it. And most of Africa actually still does not have legal abortion. And listen to this, most people don't even want legal abortion, because even Pew Research has done all kinds of surveys and still find out that in some African countries, I think it was Ghana, where there was 92% of the people said, oh, we don't want abortion and we would never accept abortion. Most countries are in the upwards of 80%. So how is it that the liberals, the Western liberals, the likes of Hillary Clinton and people like that, people from the EU, people from the United Nations, how is it now that they're trying to tell Africans that they have to legalize abortion to make African women happy, when African women are rejecting all these things?
Now, let me here play the devil's advocate, almost literally. And what the great white fathers and mothers are telling you is that if only you were as wise as we are, you would see. I mean, we know there's a terrible problem with AIDS in Africa.
Yes.
And I assume that there are population problems. I don't even know if that's so. Why is it a bad thing to bring in, say, contraception?
Okay, so what we have in Africa, honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but what we have in Africa is not a problem of overpopulation, but urbanization. So people have moved into cities, into the few cities in the country. So, for example, in Nigeria, I can tell you that maybe 80% of the country live in 7 cities, and the rest of the country is completely empty because the schools, the hospitals, the basic amenities are found only in the cities or mainly in the cities, and job opportunities. So everyone goes in there and they form slums. People arrange themselves into these slums. And that's what, that's what CNN will capture. And so then they tell us you have an overpopulation problem. But that is not the issue. The point is, in order for something like contraception to take, the African people, first and foremost, have to be convinced that large families are not good things. So I'm from a family of 6 people. First, you're going to have to convince my mother that she should have had 4 instead of 6, right? But really, I have seen, large families in Africa who have done well. I have seen large families who haven't done well. But I've also seen small families that have not done well. That you have 3 children in Africa does not necessarily assure you that your 3 children are going to have food, water, clothing, right? So should they not have any children at all? Because African governments, we still have problems with them, problems of transparency. So when there are bigger families in Africa, as people would choose to have, it's not a must, but those bigger families then form communities, supporting communities for the people. So my elder siblings helped with raising of those of us who are the younger ones. And it happens like that, and we take care of our parents when they're old because we don't have old people's homes. What happens then when we start having the upside down family trees, when there are 4 grandparents or 2 parents, 1 child? It's incredible, but the African society is already arranged in this way. And that's how we hold ourselves in a resilient way, even through all our problems.
What about AIDS? I mean, is there a way? Is there an approach to the AIDS crisis in Africa that you would put forward that is different than this?
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, before I left Nigeria, I was actually working as a scientist in Nigeria. And part of what I had done was virology. And we worked with a lot of HIV people. So the scandal of HIV has if anyone would do any research, there is a man from Harvard University. Well, he used to be with Harvard before Harvard sacked him because he spoke the truth. His name is Professor Edward Green, who had written all these documents because he went out to Africa to study HIV and the spread of HIV and HIV prevention. And he was working in the southern parts of Africa. Now, he got to Uganda and he saw what had happened in Uganda, that the Ugandans the Ugandan government got involved and they tried to approach it with the ABC method. This thing they say, abstinence, be faithful, and then condoms if you can't, right? Mm-hmm. So, but the government was so much involved. They were going into schools, they were going into villages, they were telling people to be faithful to their wives, to try not to have multiple sex partners and all whatnot. But they were not relying on condoms. And even from what these few scientists that have been allowed to, as far as they've been allowed, they have said that Uganda is the one place in the world that has had the highest, the most remarkable reduction of HIV.
It was an amazingly, the ABC, abstinence, be faithful, and then condoms if you can. That was one of the most amazingly successful programs. And the liberals then came in and destroyed it, didn't they?
Oh, Andrew, they not only destroyed it, they shut down the Ugandan government. They shut him up. They went to President Museveni and his wife, and they made sure that they bought them out of that program. So I went to Uganda 7 months ago, and what did I see? There were all these, before this, there were all these billboards about, we're keeping ourselves from marriage, all these things that were preaching abstinence, preaching just one wife, preaching monogamy instead of polygamy. And those billboards are all down. Instead, what did I see? I saw life-size billboards that were sponsored by USAID. This was during the Obama regime, because this was sometime last year I went. And it was people saying things like, I'm in charge with my condom. Why don't we get down with the condom? This was all over Kampala. This was all over Entebbe. It was a scandal. And meanwhile, the scientists who have studied this say that the problem in throwing in so much condom at the same time into communities and societies is that people don't even use it right. They always fail. There are all these problems with it.
These billboards are up in LA too, and we are having a massive problem with young people, especially gay people, who are getting sick, and they're the ones they send these advertisements to, basically making
yeah.
condoms like, now it's all going to be fine.
Exactly.
Who finances this stuff? I mean, aside from Gates, who else is behind this?
Okay, so there is before your new administration now, and I must thank you for that. Before the Trump administration, in the last 8 years, President Obama has put in so much effort into making Africa into this small colony of his. He came to Africa, I think, twice. He went around and he preached the liberal agenda. What Africans did not understand was the Western liberal agenda. We know, because I live in the West, and I can tell you that we don't have this in Africa. We don't have this thing of conservative and liberals, but we recognize this, those of us who listen to Obama, as him going around preaching, trying to make Africans more like the liberal America, more like the liberal Europe. So his administration put in so much money, and up to now there are still some of those projects going on. George Soros with his Open Society Foundation is doing so much.
You always find George Soros in there somewhere.
He's the monster under the bed. But there are people like Warren Buffett who are putting in so much money because they're very interested in population control. There are people like Hewlett and Packard, the people who make the nice printers. They're actually in Africa. They're not there as people for printers. They're there as people who are trying to push abortion and contraception. But there are also organizations like International Planned Parenthood Federation, which in the US, but they have their big mother organization, and they're almost in every African country. There's Marie Stopes International, which is an abortion giant here in the United Kingdom. They are very much in Africa as well. So these are all the people who are doing everything they can to crush us and put us into a box.
Well, let me ask you one more question. I mean, that is an impressive array of powerful, wealthy people doing what is essentially imperialism. That is almost the definition of cultural imperialism, trying to push an agenda that doesn't exist into a country that doesn't want it, and where other methods have succeeded. Is there any hope to stop them? I mean, there's so many, and they're so powerful and so rich. Is there any way? How do you feel? Do you feel optimistic about what you're doing or not?
I am optimistic for one reason, but I'm also pessimistic for some other reasons. I'm optimistic because the African people are so against. The African people are really what you would call classical social conservatives. When you bring them out and try to compare them with the rest of the world, the Africans, are so resistant to what is going on. But we also have very corrupt leaders in Africa who can be bought. And these people from the West have realized that everybody has a prize. Do you know that sometime last year when Bill Clinton, I think he did his 70th birthday, he did a birthday party, I think it was in New York. There were African leaders who attended this birthday. I didn't know he was doing a birthday party until I saw them on social media. They were taking pictures with Bill Clinton. And I thought, what are they doing? What are they doing there? I mean, this is a former minister for finance. They know all these people on first name basis. So that is my problem. And the problem that we're having now is that we have leaders who can be bought and who are being bought constantly. And those are the people, I think, that the Western imperialists and these colonial masters, the new colonial masters, these are the people that they're approaching directly. They're not doing much anymore with the populations because they're failing woefully. But so that's the problem. So every year I keep going back many times. I'm going to Ethiopia next week and I'm going to Kenya the week after, but we will keep fighting them.
Oh, well, good luck, Uju. Uju EKeocha. Am I pronouncing your name right? EKeocha?
Absolutely fine. That's great.
All right. You can be found on Twitter at Obianuju. It's at Obianuju, or at cultureoflifeafrica.com. Uju, thanks so much for coming on. I hope to get to meet you in person soon.
Thank you. Oh, same here. Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me.
Bye-bye. Amazing person. I mean, and it's something the left doesn't think. They don't see themselves like that. They see themselves as the great white deliverers, bringing this down. And they also, the typical of the left, they don't hold themselves accountable for results, only for their intentions. So their intentions, obviously, I'm sure, are very good, but they don't think about the fact, like when they went into Uganda and they destroyed that ABC program, they really set loose a wildfire of disease and illegitimacy, and it's just so incredibly destructive.